Yeah, you hear the recording is in progress. So for us, for those of you that are attending, thank you all for participation and interest in this webinar. We all believe that this is really interesting topic to you. I'm Josip Pustić from Poslovna Inteligencija. I'm in charge of customer success here in our office in Zagreb, and I will be your main host today. Today with me are three colleagues, Máté Kiss as co-host and one of the main presenters here today. He's IBM Planning Analytics Technical Sales Leader for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And Ivica and Ivana from Tech Data, our partner organizing this webinar. So,
good morning.
So today's journey is here. So this is the introduction that I'm going to have for, let's say, 10, maximum 15 minutes. And then Máté Kiss will take over and show you the roadmap and all the features that you actually came to see in this webinar. At the end, we will have a Q&A session. So microphones are muted. So if you have any questions, please raise hand. Or through chat window, put it through chat window or through Q&A session, so I can see it and all of us can answer it at the end of the webinar. Quick introduction of why is not okay. So quick introduction of companies. Our partner here in this webinar is Tech Data. So Tech Data is one of the biggest software distributors in the world, one of the main IBM partners worldwide. It has been present in Croatian market from 2014, so it's not a new company. And we have started more actively our cooperation in the last couple of years with all the activities in analytical area and as well as in data privacy part, where Tech Data has become our partner for worldwide area. From this year, Tech Data is our distributor for Croatia, so we are really excited to expand our partnership even more. Ivica from Tech Data and Ivan are here, so if you have any questions related to their activities and something that might interest you, you can contact them without any problem. About Poslovna Inteligencija briefly, so we are an analytical solution company, 20 years now in the business. Currently, there is over 150 of us in 7 countries. Most of us are here in Zagreb in Croatia. IBM is one of our leading partners, but we are also working with other software vendors. In IBM world, we came together with Cognos. I will talk a little bit more in this brief history of planning analytics about Cognos, but currently we are IBM Platinum Business Partner for data science and business analytics and unified governance integration competencies. Our solution areas are strictly related to implementation of analytical solutions. So anything that has connection with the data warehouse, business intelligence, planning and budgeting, in this case, really important, data quality, data migration, master data management, data quality. This is something that we do, and we are strictly focused just on this. In regards to the IBM Planning Analytics, most often we use it in the implementation of custom developed planning and forecasting solutions in different industries according to the client needs. But throughout the years, we have developed our own solution, generic solution that is for profitability analysis that uses the same planning analytics engine and technology. It has been registered in IBM Industry Catalog, and the usage is really wide, so it can be used for any kind of profitability calculation. If this is something that could be interest to you, do not hesitate to contact us and we can arrange a meeting as a follow-up. Before Máté shows you all the current features and functionalities that are really excellent, and the roadmap of IBM Planning Analytics with Watson, I wanted to give you a brief, let's say, view of the history of this software solution. So I don't know if you know this, but it could be useful. So the journey started 2007, so it was really a long time ago, and this was really a turbulent year in the software area. So in September this year, that year, so 2007, Cognos, the old Cognos, let's say, the company that was not part of the IBM, that had Cognos Planning and Cognos Business Intelligence, announced that it will acquire Applix, and part of the Applix was the TM1. So it was, and it is, multidimensional online analytical processing engine that Cognos, as an excellent planning solution, lacked as functionality. And the same year, we had turnaround that IBM announced that it will acquire Cognos. So that year was really really significant for IBM in this analytical area. And just as a trivia, the same year, 2007, SAP acquired Business Objects and Oracle acquired Hyperion. So it was really a year that will be remembered in these acquisitions. IBM then, until 2012, when they officially announced IBM Tm1 version 10. So they used this period to integrate all the good components of Cognos Planning and TM1 as multi-dimensional OLAP into this one new solution. So the IBM journey started then. And since in the software business, rebranding is really something that is a constant. In 2016, IBM rebranded TM1 as Planning Analytics. That was version 2 point something or 11 point something. And we are witnessing this year that IBM is introducing IBM Planning Analytics with Watson. So this is the new Watson AI-infused integrated planning solution that we are witnessing now. So what about the future? I do see future as bright one, because IBM is continuing to invest in IBM Planning Analytics with Watson, which is still powered by TM1. So this solution with IBM continues to be one of the pillars of analytical portfolio. And in fact, IBM is increasing investment in this area. So this is definitely visible in all new features and functionalities that are constantly being released. And Máté will show you definitely some of them. And we are witnessing that all those new functionalities are being integrated with the new IBM cloud platform that is called IBM Cloud Pack for Data. So with this IBM Planning Analytics solution and other components that are part of the this data science and business analytics portfolio, planning analytics will continue to be a powerful combination. And by using it, you will be able to make informed decision and act smarter current, but in the future as well. So with this, I do hope that it's 12 minutes of time well spent. I'm handing it over to Máté. So Máté, please, stage is yours.
Okay. Please revoke the screen sharing. Yeah, that's perfect. And then I will be able to share my screen. Okay, so in the first part of my time, I'm going through the new enhancements that are already in the product. And I decided to do it in a live demonstration because I think it is much more valuable to see how it works in real life. And the second part of my presentation will be about the roadmap which will be a PPT presentation. Before I jump into the live demo, I would like to introduce the model in really high level that I will use. So as a first step, there will be a distributed revenue planning that Bob and Mark have to do. Okay, so they have to plan their own department revenues. And as a second step, there will be centralized expense planning. So let's think about Erica is a controller and he is planning and she has to forecast the expenses in a central way. So that means the controlling office is forecasting the expenses for all the companies. And as a last step, there will be Ross, who is the part of the management team, and he has to review the income statement. And how we will arrive to the income statement is that, first of all, we will gather the profit and different KPIs from the distributed revenue planning, and also we are gathering the metrics from the centralized expense planning. With said that, I am just going into the Planning Analytics on cloud. So actually I will use the cloud version of Planning Analytics, and I will log in with Mary, who is the planning administrator. And so she is the first user. I just have copied the password. There we go. So I'm logging as a planning administrator. She's Mary. And I would like to introduce the look and feel of the new Cognos and Planning Analytics. Why I said Cognos? Because right now, Cognos Analytics and Planning Analytics with Watson using the same design principles that we are calling it. We are calling it as a carbon design. And actually, if you look and if you log in to the new Cognos Analytics, the 11.2, then you will see the same structure, the same design principles, everything will be the same. So we have the quick launch tiles, which is different for different type of users, and we could access the important things in Planning Analytics. For example, the applications and plans. What are the difference between the application and plans? So the plan is a planning cycle with due dates. An application is a planning cycle without due dates and without submission. Okay, so these are the difference between application and plans. And also we have the report and analysis, which is the content tree right now. We have options to see it, for example, as a tile and as a list as well. So if you prefer to have a Tableau and Power BI look and feel, of course, you could use the tile because these products are using the tiles. But if you prefer the list view, there is also option to have it. And I can start the modeling immediately. I can access the administration task immediately from this tile. And I also have my application, my recents, and my favorites as well in order to access it as quickly as possible. And with said that, I would like to introduce the forecast cycle that I'm planning to go through. So as I mentioned and as I introduced, first of all, we have the distributed revenue planning, and as a second step, we have the centralized expense planning. As you could see, you can assign the due dates, and you have to assign assets, that is the Planning Analytics objects books that will be accessible through that certain steps. You also have to assign groups who has access to these steps, and you could set that, okay, the submission is required or not required. You can also, I would say, follow the planning cycle. So as you could see from the first side, the distributed revenue planning is already done. But we didn't, I mean, Erika didn't started the centralized expense planning yet. We also can see when was the submission, who did it, there was any comment or there wasn't a comment, we could reset it if it is necessary. So I would say we have full control over this guided planning. And as a next step, I have to say that this new guided planning is not the replacement for the contributor workflow that you may be aware of. Of course, this contributor workflow has its advantages and disadvantages as well. And I think the main disadvantages is that the approval hierarchy and the steps within the planning cycle using the contributor has to follow one dimension. But in real life, I think the planning cycle is much more complicated than one one dimension. This is why we just rethought a little bit and decided that okay, the steps that we are creating in a planning cycle won't be touched and reflected and connected to any dimension. So we have a full flexibility to introduce the steps that we have to take. And being said that, I will use a different user. It will be Erika's user, and it will be the number 4. Yes, and the password is coming from here. So you will see a difference in the ties as well. So because Erika is not an administrator, there you could see there is no administrator on QuickTile. And if I log into the forecast that I have to use or I have to do with Erika, I will be able to see only one step, which is assigned to Erika, which is the centralized expense planning. I do not see, or Erika doesn't see the first step, which was the distributed revenue planning, because she doesn't have access to it. Just a couple of sentences about what we are looking right now. So we have a subset of chart of accounts, and we have the month dimension. And we also have the plan. And as you could see, the plan is ready because we did it in 2020. But we have the forecast as well that I have to deal with. And as you could see, there is the right time to start the forecast from June. But in order to analyze the forecast, first of all, Erika wants to see it, wants to visualize it. And with the new planning analytics, we could start it from directly from a visualization point of view, comparing to the old planning analytics workspace, when we had to start with a cube view, when we had to start with a cross tab, with an exploration, and we have to transform this exploration to a visualization. But right now, we can start it from a visualization, and maybe you can see it if you use Cognos Analytics, then you can see it. The dashboarding capabilities are almost identical for PA and for CA as well. And if I have to add, and I would like to design it like to have the time dimension in the x-axis from the expense cube. So just put the time dimension to the x-axis. And I also can define the set that I would like to see in the visualization. And I just want to see the leaf element. There we go. And I would like to have the versions in the columns and in the lines. So let's grab the version dimension, drag and drop here. And as I mentioned, the plan is just the first part of my visualization, but I also would like to have the forecast in my visualization and saying that, okay, the line position will be defined the forecast. So we have already the visualization, and maybe it is better to have in an opposite way. So I would like to put the forecast in a column and the value and the plan in the line chart. So I was able just to change it. And as I mentioned, we have the same capabilities that we had that we already have in Cognos Analytics. So I can, for example, change the color palettes, and really important that I could define custom color palettes. Of course, maybe we all know that the custom color palettes was available in the old Planning Analytics workspace as well, but we had to deal with in a JSON code, in a JSON file. So I think since we put it into the workspace directly, I think it is much more convenient to work with the custom color palettes here. And I would like to add also these certain custom color palettes for the line rows as well. Okay. And the next step that I would like to show is to how easy to modify the look and feel of the visualization itself. So for example, I would like to hide the axis titles. Okay, so I don't want to see this one, and I don't want to see the title for the columns as well. This one. And the last step that I would like to do here is to say that I don't want to have a different axis for the line and for the columns. So I would like to have a single axis. There we go. And really the last step that I would like to deal with the visualization itself is that I do not want to have any fill color. So I think I can prove that the options we have much more options to design the look and feel of our dashboard as we would like. So right now, let's, I would say, deal with the forecast. Okay, so with the forecast, we have to select one certain metric that we would like to forecast. And I have to set the forecast start period, which will be June in my case, and the forecast end period as well. And also I have advanced setting possibilities, like to use all the data in the cube for the forecast, or just use the data which is already in the cross tab. I also could ignore certain time periods. So for example, finger crossed, and let's say that this COVID period was once in a lifetime, but I don't want to, I would say, do my forecast considering the data from these periods. So I could ignore it, and then I will just use the other time periods. And also have to set, okay, where I would like to put the forecast numbers. So I just set in the version dimension, in the version hierarchy, and in the forecast element. And if I preview it, then, okay, I have it. I can check the accuracy, and I also have the statistical details. Okay, so I have different, how to say, data science related words here. Like the mean absolute error, and the most important one from the accuracy details is the mean absolute scared error, which is the error of my predictive model, of my forecast model, divided by the error of the naive model. And we are calculating the accuracy from the mean absolute scared error. So the accuracy equals 1 minus the mean absolute scared error. We have other parameters for the smoothing factors. So for example, the gamma is the smoothing factor for the seasonality. And I also have to say that the forecast method that we are using right now that is supported by Planning Analytics is the time series forecast and different exponential smoothing models. So actually Planning Analytics just analyzes the data, trying to find the trend in the data and the seasonality in the data, and applies that certain exponential smoothing model that gives the best accuracy. So this is what Planning Analytics does for us. And we have 9 different exponential smoothing models that we are using. So for example, the simple seasonal exponential smoothing or the Holtz linear method. And you can find all the details if you click on the learn more. But right now I just would like to run the forecast. So just run the forecast. And I already have the forecasting numbers for the rest of the year. The great thing is with the forecast that I can multi-select different KPIs and run the forecast just once and have my numbers there. Okay, and the last and the other good news is that we can run the forecast for the aggregated levels as well. So as you could see, the investment cost equals project A and project B. And if I run the forecast for the aggregated level, then I will forecast that aggregated level, and the forecasting number will be allocated back to the leaf element, to project A and project B in a proportional way. But since I had 0 for base, that is why I have the same amount for project B and project A as well. If I would like to have a better forecast, then I just can grab the plan data, for example, and copy it back to the forecast. There we go. So I have the base numbers, and then I am running the forecast again at the aggregated element. I will forecast the numbers again, and the ratio and the split will be proportional. Okay, and let's say that this is the number that we would like to provide. So I can submit my plan and saying that the AI infused forecast was used and submitted. Okay, just logging back with, let me save it, and logging back with Erica, sorry, with Mary, who is the plan admin, and the first user. And Mary will be able to see that, okay, the second step is done right now. So just open the application that I would like to use. So I can see that, as you can see, there is it is already done. What I would like to show you right now is how easy to create a step, because as you could see, the third step is missing. So I just can add the step and say that income statement review. I can add the description. I can define a due date, which will be tomorrow. Okay, I can say that, yes, the submission is required. I can assign an asset. So I'm looking for my assets for the income here. There we go. And I also could assign a group, which will be the management group. Just save it. So that was all to create a new step. And in order to apply these changes, I have to refresh the plan and also refresh the permission. And as a last step, I would like to log in with Ross. And he is the 5th one. And Ross will have access to the income statement. We'll have access to that certain step that I just defined. So there we go. We already have the application, and we have the income statement here, where the data is gathered from the distributed revenue planning and the centralized expense planning as well. I just would like to highlight one thing, which is the waterfall chart. So right now, great news. I think it was a long-awaited feature that the waterfall charts are natively available in Planning Analytics workspace. Okay, so these were the enhancements that are already in the product. So now let's focus on the roadmap. Let me start the slideshow. For the roadmap, I have to say that please keep in mind that IBM can change the roadmap whenever they want. So the new features and the new coming features that I will present right now might or might not come to the product itself. So yeah, as I mentioned, please do not get my words as a commitment. The thing that we are focusing is to build a new engine, a completely new engine for planning analytics, which will be containerized. And due to this, there will be high availability and higher uptime as well, because we will be able to scale it, not just say horizontally, but vertically as well, okay? And there will be an improved memory management. So we know that we have, I would say, room of improvement in the domain to release the memory that is not used anymore. Okay, so the unused memory. And the new engine will be much better in this one, and it will result a much better memory management. So we will release the unused memory and make it available for other processes, for other users, or for other applications. And I also have to say that with the new engine, we call it V12 engine, the Tm1 V12 engine, there won't be, so this new engine won't support the legacy interfaces like the architect, the perspectives. It will support only the workspace, the planning analytics for Excel, web sheets, and Cognos Analytics, because there will be only OData and REST API connections internally. But do not be afraid, because the old engine, I mean the current engine that we have currently on the market, will be supported for another 3-4 years. So you have plenty of time to plan your upgrade. But as I mentioned, the upgrade means you are losing the legacy clients. I think IBM was really generous to have it until that certain point. So the planning analytics came out in 2015. So actually we are supporting the legacy Tm1 clients for 10 years. I don't think any other software vendor is doing this. And the other thing is about the predictive and smart. So as you could see in the presentation, the forecast was manually done. But of course, in real life, I think it will be really great to have the scheduling option for the cost for the forecast. Scheduling means we will be able to schedule it from the UI, from the user interface as well. And we will be able to script it through the TI processes too. And also we will support not just the time series forecast, but the other forecasts as well. So we could consider other parameters, not just the time for the forecast. And also, we would like to improve the trust in our forecast. So we will change and redesign the whole statistical detail screen that you see in my live presentation in order to be more user-friendly, in order to tell I would say the regular business users more about the forecast accuracy as well, because I can understand that the current statistical details, it is much more for the data science people, but we will redesign it in order to have a better view, to provide a better view about the statistical details for the regular users as well. The Watson integration and the decision optimization integration that is coming into the product. As a first step, it is coming to the Planning Analytics Cloud and Planning Analytics Cloud Pack for Data. It will be available, this integration, from the UI. So as you could see, for example, here, we could define that certain Watson machine learning service that we would like to use. And then we could define that data that we would like to provide from Planning Analytics to the Watson machine learning service, and gather and define where to gather back the data from the Watson machine learning and put to Planning Analytics, and then just run it as an action button. And this is the same for the decision optimization, as you could see here. So if I define an action button, there will be an additional option here to run the optimization. And also we have to set the parameters, which model we would like to use in the decision optimization, and what data we would like to provide, and where we would like to get back the result. And also the agile and demand planning is more about the bundling these products, so PA, Watson Studio, and decision optimization into one license package. Okay, so you can, in the future, you will be able to buy an agile demand planning solution, which will contains the PA, the Watson Studio, and DO as well. And the action buttons so the new stuff in the action buttons, I think mentioned it. So that means we will have more options to use it for the Watson Studio integration and for the DO integration as well. And we will improve the synchronization as well. Synchronization means we will be able to synchronize different widgets in different tabs and pages. So it's not just about the synchronization of the filters, but for example, if we drill down and drill up or select certain or hide certain things and keep certain things in the cross tab, we could set up, okay, these changes will apply to another widget in another tab, and the third widget in the fourth tab, and so on and forth, in order to make it more intuitive and to give more analytical view for the business users. About the format and calculation, so we will have a completely new cube viewer in the workspace, which will provide and improve the usability. And also we will have advanced formatting options, like we will have more themes, we will have attribute and level-based formatting. We will be able to define custom colors for different cell types. So we also, and in additionally, we will redesign the subset editor in the workspace in order to maximize the use of the screen page, to provide a higher performance in the subset editor, and also to have a better MDX viewer and recorder options. And last but not least, there will be new calculations as well in the workspace, like the subset-based calculations. Okay. And the Mapbox, so the new geospatial capabilities. So actually, one of the main difference currently between the dashboarding in Cognos Analytics and Planning Analytics is the map visualization. And the reason behind is the Mapbox maps are used in Cognos Analytics. The Mapbox is a third-party company that is providing map visualizations and analysis for hundreds of thousands of vendors and applications. So for example, Uber is using Mapbox as well. And IBM had a contract with Mapbox, but just for CA. So right now we just signed the contract with Mapbox in order to be able to use the map visualization in the PA as well. So right now the development team is working to make it available in the workspace. And for the templates, so for example, as you could see here, people and the users will be able to define their custom templates. So, you know, when you are creating a book, you could select the page structure from a template, and you will be able to define this custom structure for your books, for your pages. And the other thing that we are looking at and that will be available for in the near future is that the template can be extended with default elements. So we will be able to define not just a structure, but the default elements as well. So for example, we could create a template which has the company logo in the top right corner, for example. And the report distribution will be, we are trying to achieve almost the same capabilities that we currently have in Cognos Analytics. So we will be able to define a distribution list. So the people who will get the distributed report, we will be able to define the formats, of course, how the people will get it as a PPT, as a PDF, or as a hyperlink. And then we will be able to distribute it programmatically. And of course, we would like to improve the guided planning experience as well. So in the current release, as you saw in my live demonstration, there is submission, but you didn't see the reject option because it is not there yet. This is what we will provide in the near future in order to have a workflow capabilities which covers all the demands and needs that the customers has. And also the data landing simplification, the data loading simplification. I think this is a significant new thing that is enhancement that is coming to planning analytics. So we will have a landing zone. It is not decided yet that whether it will be a DB2 database, I would say bundled in planning analytics, or IBM data virtualization, but certainly we have a landing zone, and we could gather the different data from different data sources to this landing zone. And we will be, the business users will be able to load the data from the landing zone intuitively, natively in the workspace. So I think it is a great path that IBM tries to follow, and it will be a great and long-awaited enhancement for the business users. And the model creation will be guided as well in the new workspace, in the new release of the workspace. So the business users, the end users, will be guided through how to create a model. So first, create a dimension, create a different type of dimensions, create cubes, then define rules for the cubes, define security, and create cubes. So these steps will be guided in the new release of IBM Planning Analytics workspace. And of course, we are trying and we are working on to enhance the Excel interface as well. And one of the significant things that is coming is an additional reporting mode. And this additional reporting mode will be the dynamic quick report, which merge and combines the benefits and the strong points of the quick reports and the dynamic reports, such as the style formatting, dynamic row, column sets. Okay, and the other thing for Excel is that the administrators or the IT will be able to push out the Excel upgrades, the Pathé upgrades programmatically. So it will be able to handle in a centralized way. And actually, that was the roadmap. I think I finished just on time for the Q&A. I hope you liked it, and yes, I think both of us, so Josip, Ivica, and myself are open for the Q&A.
Yeah, thank you, Máté. Just in time. So Q&A session. So if you have any questions, now is the time to post it either in the Q&A session or in the chat. So we have 10 minutes. Feel free to ask us anything. Currently, I don't see any questions, so either everything is clear. Can anyone just post a question so I can see if the Q&A session is working, just to be sure?
Okay, then let me ask. So I'm really interested that which new capabilities that is already in the product that you liked and that you are looking for to use it, and which new enhancement that is still coming in the product you are waiting for. So just, I think you could use the chat.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Amir, thank you for testing the Q&A part. Sorry, Máté,
Yeah, we have a chat. It says it looks nice. So thank you, Leo. Yeah,
thank
we
you.
have we have the same opinion.
Damir, your question was, does it work like a chat or does it work like a planning analytics? Just, I hope that you meant for a chat. We have to joke a little bit. So. Understood. Does the current version of Tm1 support it, or do we need to do some upgrades? For the current version that Máté has been showing, yes, I don't know in which version are you currently running on. So to, if you have active maintenance and support, which I believe you do, yes, you can upgrade to the last version. We need to see, but yeah.
Yeah, let me differentiate the version of the TM1 engine itself and the version of the workspace. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Please. Yeah.
So yes, that you saw right now, the workspace was the latest one, so the 65 version. But most of the new things, actually all of the new enhancements that I showed is available from the workspace version of 57 on-premise and 58 on cloud. So all of the functions that I showed is there. Maybe it will look like a little bit different with the older version, but it is already there. And if you did the upgrade last year, I'm pretty sure it will work for you without any TM1 upgrade. So you just have to upgrade to the latest workspace version, which is an on-top installation. So you don't need to, reinstall everything. So uninstall and then reinstall everything. You can install it. Would it be possible to put requirements under the submit button in the roadmap? For example, that user press the submit button, but it is not possible to finish the plan if all the data are not entered or some other predefined condition is not met. So in the near future, the rejection button is coming, but it is also an option and functions that we would like to add for the workflow. Currently, we could do it with rules within the model itself. So have like a technical cells which checks the certain criteria that is defined, and you will be able to see for the first side whether you should submit your plan or you shouldn't submit your plan. But it is the submit button currently cannot be connected to any certain criteria. So even if this technical cell is saying that no, you should look for this and that before the submit, even that you will be able to submit it.
Okay, is this it? Okay, if I understood correctly, in current version, the approval hierarchy cannot use in predefined workflow.
If the predefined workflow contains a rejection option, then no. Then no, it is not possible because we do not have the reject option yet.
Okay. Thank you, Valentina.
But we have a custom workflow. This is one of my child, I would say. So actually, we can extend the inbuilt workflow function in Planning Analytics workspace with our custom workflow. And I think I had a discussion with Slajana about this, and Poslovna Inteligencija has it as well. And with the rules and TI processes, we could create a proper and custom workflow in Planning Analytics, which can answer and deliver all the functions that is needed by the customer. But it has to be designed. It is not inbuilt yet.
Okay, thank you, Máté. If you don't have any additional questions, thank you all once again for participating in today's webinar. I do hope that things that you heard and saw are useful, and you got a pretty good idea in which direction IBM Planning Analytics is going. So for all additional questions, clarifications, you see our contacts on this last slide. So feel free to reach out to us and we will answer it as soon as we can. Follow us on our website, on our social media with posts, blogs, articles, and all potential future webinars related to IBM Planning Analytics and other IBM solutions within IBM portfolio. I thank you and stay safe. Bye.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you for your time. Bye-bye.